Hi there. Today we're going to do a question where they give us a situation where they give us the slope and they give us 1 point on the line. So they give us the slope and they give us a point on the line and they say what is the equation of this line. So what we're going to do is start off by I'll remind you of earlier videos that you hopefully have watched by now, that we're going to be looking for something in this form right here. Y equals mx plus b. If you remember correctly, you'll remember that the m, the part in front of the x, is the slope. The b over here is the y-intercept. Okay? In this question, they've told us that the slope is 3. So we're going to be putting the 3 right where the m is. Now, the part that we don't know in this question is we don't know what the y-intercept is, and that is our goal. We want to find out what is that y-intercept. So the trick here is you have to use this number 1 and number 2 here, or the point 1, 2, and you need to put these in the right spot in this equation right here, and then we just do a little algebra, and that's something that I've done on earlier videos. Do a little algebra to get b, or the y-intercept, all by itself. So let's do this together, and hopefully that will make more sense to you, okay? First of all, look at the 1 and the 2 over here. Remember that on a point, the first number that comes is the x value. The 1 is the x value. The 2 is the y value. If you were to plot this on a little graph, you would go 1 over and 2 up. 1 over and 2 up. You'd plot your point. We know that the slope is 3, so from there, if we were graphing this, we would go 1, 2, 3 up and 1 across. 3 over 1. We would get something that goes like that. We don't exactly know where this y-intercept is, and that's what we're about to find. Okay? So back to this. Y equals mx plus b. Let's put the 1 where you see the x, and let's put the 2 where you see the y. So let's start with the y. Since it's y equals mx plus b, let's start with the y. We're going to put the 2 where the y is. I'm keeping the equal sign underneath just to make it easier for the teacher to mark, and it's also easier for us to keep on top of what we're doing. Okay? The slope is 3. Well, the slope is the m value right here. So you put a 3 there. We're going to put the x value next, which happens to be this 1. I'm going to write it in brackets. Remember, brackets mean times. So it's like saying 3 times 1. And this is the part we don't know. B. I'll try and make sure that doesn't look like a 6, because b's and 6's sometimes look alike. Okay, let's keep going. So 2 is equal to, well, what's 3 times 1? You're right, it's 3. That was nice and easy. And then I've written everything else down. How do we get b all by itself? That's right. You get rid of this 3. How do you get rid of the 3? Well, the opposite of a positive 3 is a negative 3. So underneath that, I'm going to show that I'm subtracting 3 from this side. And just like we did on the algebra videos, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So these two cancel. We're left with b equals, and it's okay that we're reading it right to left, no big deal. B equals whatever 2 minus 3 is. If you've watched the video on integers, you'll know how to do this part. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. We can now tell someone, whoever wants to know, what the equation of this line is. Y equals 3x, and then b is minus 1 or negative 1. So I'm going to write minus 1 or negative 1 right here. This is the answer that they were looking for. All right? I'm going to do one more question, and then you're on your own just to practice this, okay? Let's see here. So we're going to start with, well, we'll get rid of this question here. What is the equation? We'll bring this guy in. The slope is the slope is negative 2, and it goes through the point 4, negative 2. Okay, if you recall, the first step is write y equals mx plus b. Let's keep things nice and orderly here so it's not confusing. Remember that the 4 is the x value, the negative 2 is the y value. So let's start with the y value, which is in the very front of our equation, which is negative 2. So let's write it in the very front here, negative 2 equals, what is the slope? Well, look up above. The slope is actually negative 2 as well. Okay, so the slope is going right here. Don't get confused between the two negative 2's. This negative 2 happens to be the slope. It's a fluke that they both are the same. And I maybe could have picked a better question to show you this so that it wouldn't be so confusing, but onwards we must go. The 4 I'm going to put exactly where the x is. I'm going to substitute 4 for where the x is. Okay, now let's simplify things here. We've got negative 2 equals, what's negative 2 times 4? If you've watched the video on integers, how to multiply them, you would say, well, a negative times a positive is a negative, and 2 times 4 is 8. So it's going to be negative 8 plus b. We want b all by itself, so we're going to have to get rid of this negative 8 and bring it over. How do we do that? Do the opposite of negative 8, which is plus 8. And make sure you do it to both sides. Okay, I'm going to cancel these two. So b is equal to, what is negative 2 plus 8? Again, if you know how to add these things called integers, you're going to realize that it's 6. Okay? We now know the final answer, the thing we've been waiting for. Y equals, the slope is negative 2, x, and the 6 is the y-intercept. We've just come up with the final answer here, folks. If we wanted to, we could graph this right now. But most importantly, we found the question that they were looking for. We found the equation. And the best and the easiest type of equation to put this into is in the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. All right, hopefully that's enough info for you to get started on some questions. Good luck.